Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Deja Vu, and I'm bringing you another audio commentary from the Shinhan Bank Proleague 0809. This is going to be Air Force Ace versus Samsung Khan. This is going to be week 5, and this first game is going to be pretty sweet. We got two really good players here. We've got, for Samsung Khan, we've got one of their Protoss dragons and Stork. And then for Air Force Ace, we have Yellow. Not Yellow Arnak, not fake Yellow, this is the real Yellow. And yeah, he hasn't been playing too much recently. He plays very, very sparingly, about once a month recently, and he hasn't won yet this calendar year. But you know what, Air Force Ace has been doing really well recently. They have 3 wins, I believe, this season, this round so far. So I think they actually have a winning record, which is pretty awesome for them. And we'll see what he can do. Maybe he can feed off of everyone else's victories and the momentum here, maybe gain a win against a really good player in Stork. And this map is going to be Outsider, and we are going to have Stork starting in the 12 o'clock position, Yellow in the 6 o'clock position, and then of course the empty spot in the 9 o'clock about-ish. And yeah, both these guys have played like 400 games, which is just ridiculous because, well, that just doesn't happen in the Pro League most of the time. And I think they've met something like 5 times or so before, and Yellow actually has the lead so far. I believe it's like something 3-2 or so. But most of those games were played like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, like before NC Yellow went into the Air Force and everything, and pretty much completely fell off of his game. But yeah, it's kind of cool. We have the first King of Silver in Yellow, and then the second King of Silver in Stork here, until Stork, of course, finally won something and got that gold, which was pretty sweet for him. And yeah, Stork's 60% versus Zerg, and Yellow is 60% versus Protoss. But like I said, Yellow's been pretty much slumping and everything. I'm not expecting him to take this down, but I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any sort of proxies or any sort of cheese or anything on going on here. This is Outsider, and we haven't seen too much cheese by the by Protoss players, actually. Most of them have just been going for more of a standard build, going into Corsairs and then whatever else they want to go from there. And yeah, I expect to see the same thing here from Stork. I expect him to play a very, very standard game, because he probably is actually just straight up better than Yellow. So as long as he doesn't do anything foolish, as long as he plays his game and keeps up his scouting, keeps everything, keeps up with his micro and macro, he should be able to take this down, I think, just by playing a standard game. And Yellow, I think, is the one with all the pressure in terms of coming out with a victory. It's going to be hard for him. And he's actually going to open up, Yellow is, with a 12 hatchery in his natural expansion, and then he's going to wait before throwing up an expansion at that third base in the back. And Stork actually throwing down 2 gateways, so maybe he will be going for a little bit of a cheese here, a little bit of a rush. It's not a proxy gateways or anything, but still, that is going to be some very, very early pressures. 2 gateways with Zealots pumping against a 12 hatch is usually really, really bad for the Zerg player, especially if Yellow delays and goes for some sort of... No, he didn't. Okay, he got his spawning pool going up, so he's not doing anything crazy, any sort of like ridiculous 3 hatch build going to his the backside there or anything. He's just going to go with 2 hatch with a 12 hatch into 11 pool, and we'll see where he goes from here. The first Zealot is already out for Stork, and it should be heading towards NC Yellow's bases really, really soon. It has an opportunity right now to do a lot of damage before any Zerglings are up. The spawning pool still has not been completed, and yeah, and Stork actually throwing down a pylon at the natural of Yellow and bringing some probes off the line, so he's going for a pretty intense rush here now with a couple Zealots and these probes, and he's gonna see what he can do here. I don't know if he's thrown up a forge in his main yet. If he has thrown up a forge, he might be able to throw up some cannons as well. And it looks like 2 creep colonies are now gonna go down for NC Yellow, and he's gonna try and get these into some sunken colonies to save himself right now, and he really needs those to work. And that pylon was actually made for a shield battery, so that shield battery is going to come into play here, and that thing's going to be able to recharge the shields of the Zealots constantly against all these creep colonies and the Zerglings. But now that the Zerglings are out, that looks like 8 Zerglings plus the creep colonies that are going to be forming, and Stork knows that now that's just too much for him to take out at this stage. But that is a huge advantage right now for Stork, because he did not have to invest a whole lot in terms of to do this damage. Yes, he did have to go for that dual gateway at the beginning, but he forced Yellow to use 3 drones to form sunken colonies, remake them, and put a lot of his and it's just putting a lot of pressure early on here on Yellow, and I'm not sure how Yellow is going to be prepared to handle it. He is a pro gamer, but of course he is he's an older pro gamer, and he's probably not quite on his game anymore. And actually, these Zerglings might actually be able to run by some of the Zealots here, but some more Zealots have been produced at the main, so I think Stork is going to be a-okay. He should not have any issues with these marauding Zerglings right now. And I'm not sure if Stork put up his gas yet. Yellow did throw up a gas at the main. I hope Stork threw up a gas in his main as well, because he really should try and get some tech going here. But throwing up that shield better and everything might have delayed him. Yes, it did delay him. Still no gas. And one Zergling got through Stork's ramp and is getting a full scout on, but one Zergling's not really going to do too much, so I'm sure Stork is pretty okay with that. He's not going to be too worried. And actually Stork throwing down a Nexus, it appears, on the mini-map there at his natural, and an Assimilator at his main. So he's going to go for a quick expand here into this second base, and he really should try and stop this Zergling from getting a scout on. As long as that Zergling doesn't see the second Nexus, he should have a pretty huge advantage. And he's also going to go to the bottom of the map and use a pylon trick to get a probe into Yellow's base. So he's going to get a scout out. He's going to see the layer going up. Well, maybe not. Yellow is bringing his Zerglings back. He might be able to stop this probe. We'll see. No, he doesn't stop the probe. The probe is going to see the layer. He's going to know that this is going to be a 2-hatch build. Probably going to be 2-hatch mutas. And Stork should be able to hopefully get some Corsairs and things in the air in time to stop this. I didn't see a Cybernetics core yet, but I assume that that's already going down. And as soon as he has the gas, that he'll be throwing down a Stargate as well. Rather quickly, because he really needs to, because this layer is probably almost done and the Spire will be started pretty soon, and he needs to prepare for that. And yeah, it just looks like Stork has a bunch of Zealots wandering around in the middle of the map. He's not really attacking with them, not really dedicating them to anything at the moment. He's just sort of wandering around, making sure that there aren't any forces on his doorstep. And Yellow throwing down a Hydra's down at his front, as well as another Creep Colony, Sunken Colony, and a Spire there at his natural as well. So he's putting all of his tech there at his natural expansion, not at his main, trying to hide it from this probe. And even if that probe tries to go down, there are a lot of Zerglings there at the bottom of that ramp. They'll probably be able to stop that probe from getting the scout off. And there's the first Stargate, and Forge is already up as well for Stork. And he's just got a line of Zealots. This is like what you see Zerg players do, actually, with a line of Zerglings that stops any sort of a scout or really anything from passing through. But now we're seeing Stork do it with Zealots, which works, I guess, just as well, and it's a much stronger wall, of course. And now we're seeing Yellow take a drone and move it into the back ramp of his, and he's probably going to throw down a third hatchery here, and he's going to just use the mineral only. If you trick the drone through, actually, you can make that a mineral plus gas or a double gas expansion if you wish, but of course that makes it a little bit harder to defend, and that's probably what he's worried about. Stork also throwing down a couple photon cannons at his natural, and has produced a Dragoon. I didn't see the Cybernetics core spinning, so I don't think he's going for any sort of upgrade. The Stargate is just finished, and a photon cannon is also going down in the main here. And that Zergling for Yellow is still getting a lot of really good scouting information. He's still wandering around. He sees the Stargate. He sees the timing of everything. So I don't think anything is going to surprise him. I'm sure by now he realizes that a second Nexus is up as well. I don't think the Zergling actually went down and saw it, but just by the timing of everything, he should know that. And it actually looks like Yellow's gas is messed up there. One of those sunken colonies that he placed down very hastily because of the Zealot rush. That sunken colony is interfering with his gas mining, and I'm not sure if he threw down a fourth miner on gas, but he might need to if he wants to get that back up to optimal efficiency. But it looks like he's just staying with 3. And a third cannon going down in the natural for Stork, so he's worried about this Mutalisk rush, but we'll see what he decides to do. He does have 1 or 2 Corsairs up. I did see 1. I assume the second one has been produced by now. And yeah. And now the mutas have been are out for Yellow, and we'll see what kind of damage he's able to do. 2 Corsairs are in the air, as well as a cannon at the main and 3 cannons at the natural, so he should be pretty prepared for this. I don't think the Mutalisk harass should be too effective. Second Stargate also going down for Stork, so he's going to be dedicating to some sort of a Corsair build. And the Mutalisk trying to go in the natural and get some kills where the Falcon cannons don't have great coverage, but I think they got 1 kill or so. And now they're going to go into the main where there's Dragoons and Corsairs and pick off a couple more probes. But so far nothing too big here. He's killed off a few drones, or a few probes, but not enough damage yet to really call it a success so far. And Yellow's throwing down now a 4th hatchery, so I think he's going to go into this 5-hatch Hydra build. And I'm actually kind of surprised if he's going to go for this 5-hatch build. I'm surprised that he's produced any Mutalisk. I would have expected him to go pure Scourge and then transition into 5-hatch Hydra. But he decided to do some Mutalisk and see if he can do some damage. Robotics facility going down at the natural for Stork. So this is probably going to be a dedicated Corsair Reaver build. unless, yeah, that would be my guess, is a dedicated Corsair Reaver build here with 2 Stargates and a robotics facility. And yellow coming in again here to do some more harass at the main. He picks off 2 probes, but takes a bunch of hits on his mules, and he's trying to lure the Corsairs out so that way the Scourge can be cloned and hit them all. But there are 4 Corsairs out right now, and once a couple more come out, he will have that critical mass and be nearly immune to just basic Scourge attack. And yellow has tricked a drone through and is now going to put up a hatchery at the double gas expansion there at like the 6:30, 7 o'clock position. So he'll be up to 3 gas and 3 minerals shortly, while Stork is still on 2 base. But it looks like he is sending something out to the top there, and he might be sending up for a base as well. I think he just set up a pylon there. He's probably going to throw up some defenses along with the Nexus at the same time. That is a pretty standard thing to do. But I don't know if NC Yellow scouted this, but he is moving in that direction. He might have seen this coming or just predicted it, and he might be able to take this down pretty quickly and stop the 3rd base from going up for Stork. And if he can keep the Protoss to